the Kansas City Chiefs are entering one of the most important stretches of their offseason, and while training camp is still more than a month away, there are already several major questions hanging over the roster. After suffering through a disastrous 2025 season that saw them miss the playoffs for the first time during the Patrick Mahomes era, Kansas City entered the offseason with a clear objective: surround their superstar quarterback with enough talent to immediately return to championship contention. The front office attacked multiple needs through free agency and the draft, but despite several additions and a number of encouraging developments, one area continues to generate concern among analysts and fans alike: the wide receiver room. As things currently stand, the Chiefs possess talent, potential, and speed, but there are also plenty of unanswered questions. That uncertainty is why some around the league believe Kansas City should seriously consider adding another proven veteran before the start of the regular season. And according to ESPN analyst Aaron Schatz, one name in particular makes too much sense to ignore: former All-Pro wide receiver Deebo Samuel. The Chiefs still have some time before training camp opens in late July, and the organization is hoping that the coming weeks will provide clarity regarding the status of Rashee Rice. Rice remains one of the biggest wild cards on the roster. On the field, his talent has never been questioned. When healthy and focused, Rice has shown flashes of becoming one of Patrick Mahomes' favorite targets. His physical style, ability to generate yards after the catch, and toughness over the middle make him a unique weapon in Andy Reid's offense. Unfortunately, his off-the-field issues have continued to create uncertainty. Kansas City is still waiting to determine whether Rice could face additional discipline or suspension stemming from his legal situation, and his recent absence from off-season activities has only amplified concerns surrounding his preparation and overall availability heading into the season. Even if Rice returns healthy and avoids further punishment, many analysts believe the Chiefs' receiving corps simply lacks the depth expected from a legitimate Super Bowl contender. That concern was recently highlighted by ESPN's Aaron Schatz, who suggested that adding Deebo Samuel would provide Kansas City with valuable insurance while also giving Andy Reid another versatile chess piece to deploy within the offense. Schatz pointed out that while Samuel experienced something of a down season in 2025 with the Washington Commanders, he still managed to produce respectable numbers despite no longer being at the absolute peak of his career. Samuel finished the season with 727 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, though his average of 10.1 yards per catch represented the lowest mark of his professional career. Even so, Schatz believes there is still plenty of football left in the 30-year-old veteran. His reasoning makes sense. At this stage of his career, Samuel may no longer be the explosive game-breaking weapon who terrorized defenses during his prime years with the San Francisco 49ers, but his versatility remains extremely valuable. Few players in the NFL possess Samuel's ability to contribute both as a receiver and as a ball carrier. Throughout his career, he has functioned as far more than a traditional wideout. Offensive coordinators have lined him up all over the field, utilizing him on jet sweeps, screen passes, running plays, and traditional route concepts. His physicality after the catch and ability to break tackles have consistently made him one of the league's most dangerous weapons when healthy. And perhaps most importantly for Kansas City, Samuel remained healthy throughout last season and entered the offseason in excellent physical condition. That matters tremendously for a Chiefs team that has experienced more than its fair share of injury concerns over the past year. The current makeup of Kansas City's receiver room only strengthens the argument that another veteran addition could be beneficial. The organization still believes strongly in Xavier Worthy, but his development has not progressed as quickly as many expected. After arriving with enormous expectations due to his elite speed and game-breaking ability, Worthy has shown flashes without consistently delivering week after week. There have been moments where he has looked like the explosive deep threat Kansas City envisioned when drafting him, but inconsistency has prevented him from truly establishing himself as a dominant presence in the offense. The talent remains undeniable, but entering another season with Worthy as one of the primary options carries a degree of risk. Tyquan Thornton represents another intriguing but uncertain piece. Thornton's speed allows him to stretch defenses vertically, and he has shown an ability to produce big plays when given opportunities. However, his role has largely been limited to that of a specialist. he has yet to demonstrate that he can consistently operate as a complete receiver capable of handling a larger workload. While his deep threat ability remains valuable, relying too heavily on him would place considerable pressure on a player who has not yet proven he can be an every-down contributor. Behind those players, the depth chart becomes even less established. Jalen Royals continues to work toward carving out a role within the offense, while rookie Cyrus Allen enters training camp hoping to prove that his impressive college production can translate to the professional level. Nico Remigio also remains in the mix, providing value as both a receiver and special teams contributor. Collectively, that group offers potential, but potential alone does not win championships. And that is exactly why the Deebo Samuel idea becomes so interesting. Unlike some free agents who would require dramatic adjustments to fit within Andy Reid's offense, Samuel seems almost tailor-made for Reid's creativity. Throughout his career, Reid has consistently demonstrated a willingness to maximize versatile players by placing them in advantageous situations. Whether it was Tyreek Hill lining up in multiple positions, Travis Kelce functioning as more than a traditional tight end, or various gadget plays involving running backs and receivers, Reid has always embraced offensive innovation. Samuel would fit beautifully within that philosophy. His ability to line up virtually anywhere would provide Reid with countless possibilities. He could function as a traditional receiver, work out of the slot, take handoffs from the backfield, and create mismatches against linebackers and safeties. Few coaches in football are better equipped to maximize a player's unique skill set than Reid, and few quarterbacks are better suited to exploiting those mismatches than Patrick Mahomes. Speaking of Mahomes, the importance of improving the passing attack becomes even more significant considering everything the quarterback has endured over the past year. Mahomes is currently working his way back from the devastating ACL and LCL injuries that ended his 2025 season. While optimism surrounding his recovery continues to grow, the reality is that the Chiefs cannot afford to place excessive pressure on him early in the year. Surrounding him with as many playmakers as possible should remain a top priority. Whether Mahomes returns at full strength by week 1 or requires additional time to fully regain his mobility, providing him with reliable weapons could make all the difference in Kansas City's pursuit of another championship. To their credit, the Chiefs have already made one major offensive addition by signing Kenneth Walker III. Fresh off a Super Bowl MVP performance, Walker gives Kansas City a dynamic running back capable of transforming the ground game. His explosiveness and versatility should immediately elevate the offense and reduce some of the burden traditionally placed on Mahomes. But while the running game received a major boost, concerns surrounding the passing attack remain. Travis Kelce continues to provide leadership and production, but the legendary tight end is no longer in his prime. Rice remains a question mark. Worthy is still developing. Thornton remains somewhat one-dimensional. And beyond those names, the depth becomes increasingly uncertain. Complicating matters further is the lack of elite options remaining in free agency. The market has largely dried up, leaving relatively few proven receivers available. That scarcity only increases Samuel's appeal. While he may not be the dominant all-pro weapon he once was, he still offers experience, versatility, toughness, and proven production. More importantly, he could provide valuable insurance in the event Rice misses time or younger players fail to develop as hoped. There are, of course, financial considerations. Kansas City remains tight against the salary cap, and any addition would need to fit within the organization's long-term plans. Samuel would likely need to accept a reasonable deal, perhaps one centered around incentives and short-term flexibility. But for a player entering the later stages of his career and potentially seeking one more opportunity to compete for a championship, Kansas City could represent an attractive destination. From Samuel's perspective, joining the Chiefs would offer a chance to catch passes from one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation while playing for one of the NFL's premier organizations. The opportunity to work under Andy Reid and compete for another Super Bowl would undoubtedly appeal to any veteran searching for meaningful football. For the Chiefs, the equation is equally compelling. Adding Samuel would not necessarily require him to carry the offense. Instead, he could function as another valuable weapon within an already talented system. His versatility would complement the speed of Worthy, the physicality of Rice, the explosiveness of Walker, and the brilliance of Mahomes. He would provide flexibility, depth, and experience to a unit that still feels incomplete. Ultimately, training camp will reveal a great deal about where this roster stands. If Rice returns focused and healthy, if Worthy takes the expected leap, and if young players like Cyrus Allen exceed expectations, perhaps the Chiefs will feel comfortable moving forward without another veteran addition. But if questions continue to linger, the front office may be forced to act. After all, the memory of the disastrous 2025 season remains fresh. Missing the playoffs was unacceptable by Kansas City standards. The organization has spent the entire offseason trying to ensure that disappointment does not repeat itself. And if adding Deebo Samuel helps provide Patrick Mahomes with one more dependable weapon and one more layer of protection against uncertainty, then it might just be a move worth seriously considering. Because in Kansas City, the mission remains the same as it has been throughout the Mahomes era. Not simply making the playoffs. Not merely competing. But returning to the Super Bowl and bringing another Lombardi trophy back to Arrowhead Stadium. And if Deebo Samuel can help make that happen, the Chiefs may eventually decide that taking a chance on the veteran receiver is exactly the kind of gamble they need to make. Now it's your turn. Leave a comment letting us know if you think Deebo Samuel is a good addition to strengthen the Chiefs roster. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.